This mastering method works for every genre. Watch till the end, because every single step matters to get that professional sound. Let's start. Leave headroom before mastering. Keep your mics peaking around -6 decibels, not 0. No headroom means no room for the mastering chain to actually do its job. Make sure your mix isn't touching 0 decibels, mine is peaking right around 0. So technically, it isn't clipping, but it also has 0 headroom left for mastering. So I'll use a leveler to bring the volume down to -6 decibels, giving myself some headroom. It doesn't have to be exactly -6 decibels. Anything below -5 decibels works fine. With this extra headroom, we're in good shape for mastering. Now, export or save as a WAV file and select high quality. Open a new project and bring in the WAV file we exported earlier. Sync mode is on by default, so make sure to switch it off. Now we're getting into the real mastering. Stick around till the end, then you'll know exactly which plugins to add and why. First, I'll add an analyzer to see the frequencies. The analyzer shows a small dip in the mids, but don't rely on your eyes alone. Use it as a guide, and let your ears do the actual judging. I'm not feeling enough energy in the mids, so I'll add an EQ to boost them a bit. I'll boost around 770 Hz in the mids by about 2 decibels. I'd recommend not boosting more than 3 decibels. This is the mastering phase, not mixing, so we need to stay subtle or we'll risk messing up the master. If you really need a bigger boost, go back to the mixing phase and fix it there. I'll also boost around 12 kHz in the highs by about 2 decibels to bring in that airy openness. Now that the EQ is done, it's time to glue the mics together, so we'll be using a multiband compressor. A multiband compressor splits your track into frequency bands, low, mid, high, and compresses each one separately, instead of squashing the whole mix at once. First, I'll set the low and high band crossover points to my liking. As for the compression settings, if you're not sure what to use, just leave them at default. No problem at all. Let's start with the low band. Our goal here is simple. Tighten up the low end and add punch without sacrificing any of its energy. I'm not going to compress too hard here, so I'll set the ratio to 2:1. My recommendation, don't go higher than that. If you've got a kick that's just too loud and you're tempted to crush it with compression, it's better to go back to your mix and lower it there instead. Now let's start lowering the threshold just until you see a little bit of compression kick in. Nothing too much, just a light touch. I'm setting the attack a bit slower here at 29 milliseconds. That way, the kick's transient gets through untouched, and the compressor only grabs what comes after. Now, for the release, I'm setting it faster, around 150 milliseconds, so it recovers quickly. If you've got a busy kick pattern, I'd recommend going even faster, somewhere in the 10 to 50 milliseconds range. There's not much compression happening on the low band, so we don't really need any makeup gain here. Let's move on to the mid band. For the mid band, I'm sticking with a subtle 2:1 ratio, same as the low band. Now I'll start lowering the threshold until I see a good chunk of compression. Not too much, just around 1 to 2 decibels of gain reduction. Now I'll set the attack to around 15 milliseconds, a medium fast attack. This lets the initial punch through first, then the compression kicks in right after, so we're not losing that punch. Setting the release to about 80 milliseconds here, so it recovers quickly. The mid-band is punchier and tighter now. I'll think about makeup gain later. For now, let's move on to the high band. For the highs, I'll go a little higher, around a 2:5 ratio, because the tighter the highs, the better. Now let's start lowering the threshold to catch those spiking peaks in the highs and compress them a bit. For attack, I'll go with 5 milliseconds, fast enough to catch the peaks quickly, but not so aggressive that it clamps down too hard. For release, I'll go with around 50 milliseconds so it recovers fast. And that's how you work with the multiband compressor. With everything compressed, the mix now sounds punchy, upfront, and loud. There's really no strong need for makeup gain here, since 1 to 2 decibels of reduction isn't very noticeable, but I still want a little lift, so I'll add about 1 decibel of makeup gain. Same for the highs. I'll bump the makeup gain up just a touch, around 0.5 decibels, not much at all. Multiband compressor is done. Now, let's move on to adding saturation. Saturation takes a dry mix and turns it into something warm, adding that extra character that just makes it sound good. Don't worry, there's no complicated steps here. Saturation is basically just a distortion plugin. Set the drive all the way down to 0. Set the distortion mode to tube. If you're not familiar with it, tube is a perfect saturation tool. Tube basically is saturation. Now slowly increase the drive until you notice a bit of warmth coming through, not too much. This tool is meant to add warmth to your dry mix, not loudness, so don't overdo it. Too much can actually ruin a good mix instead of enhancing it. Now, let's add the final plugin in this mastering chain, the limiter. Now with the limiter, we're going to push the volume up as loud as it can go, right up to 0 decibels, without clipping or distorting the mix. Now slowly increase the input gain until the volume reaches 0 decibels. That's it. Don't push it too hard, otherwise it'll overcompress and start sounding flat. And there it is. The mix is now sitting at a solid volume level. It sounds loud, clear, and punchy. This track is ready to release. Let's take a listen to the before and after. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this mixing and mastering tutorial, hit subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next video. Don't worry if you're confused. You can download all the assets and FLMs from the description and check them out yourself. If you still have questions, drop them in the comments.